I'm very happy to be here in Hanoi because I truly believe this is a beautiful country with amazing people who are always smiling, who are just simply wonderful. I came here this time for a mission for the AIP Foundation. It's the Make Roads Safe campaign. I didn't expect the trip to be quite so traumatizing. Well, we went and visited the hospital. It was like a conveyor belt. You know, the ambulance kept coming in and there were people that were in road accidents. And then you go to the children's ward, these helpless kids. One of them was going to have her foot cut off. It's like, these kids are our future. I can't even begin to understand why we allow something like that to happen. I'm appalled. I am outraged, and then at the end of the day, I'm beginning to think I should not have been so complacent. I think that's one of our biggest problems. We don't understand the depth of how many kids are getting killed every day. It has to stop.
So you started with AIP Foundation, kind of focused mostly on education and awareness campaign. Then when did you start Protec?
Actually, what we did, Michelle, in 2000, in fact, former President Bill Clinton came to Vietnam. You may remember it was the first official visit of a U.S. president since the war. He helped us launch a program called Helmets for Kids. Because the problem was so huge back then, even me, I didn't know where to start, and I thought, well, you know what, let's start with children. So we developed what we called a tropical helmet. I should show you one later, sorry. We developed what we called a tropical helmet, basically just a lightweight, almost like a bicycle helmet, but it has extended coverage, so it really does qualify as a motorbike helmet. And we started importing those. We designed them, we had them produced in Mexico and China, started importing them. But I got, it was so expensive, I thought, wait a minute, there's something wrong with this picture. Why not set up a factory here, a non-profit factory to make these helmets? We could distribute them so much more cheaply and more efficiently to a lot of children. So we went out, I was able to raise the money, I put up a lot of my money, I was able to get some other foundations and philanthropists to put in money, and we built the world's first non-profit helmet making plant, the Protec plant. It's about a $2 million facility. Again, no debt, all built only for humanitarian purposes. And we now employ about 150 people out there. 1/3 of them are physically disabled. So it's a great model that's also helping the community. So anyhow, from the helmets though, we have now distributed over 300,000 helmets throughout Vietnam to children. But I think like with anything, whether it's condoms or vitamins or whatever it is, you can't just give something away and expect people to use it. So along with that, we very quickly started components of education. We worked with the government and actually helped them develop a curriculum to improve road safety in primary schools initially. And then yes, the public awareness campaigns, because, just call it propaganda. You can't just put a banner over a street that says a happy family is a family that drives safely. It's got to be like advertising, where 24 hours a day people are learning that they've got to change the way they think about whether it's drinking and driving or seatbelts or helmets. So that's how this model has grown, and it's proving to be very successsul.
Yeah. So what is your plan for the future? Seems like you gotta go non-stop here.
Yeah, I've created I don't want to say a monster, but I've created something I'm very happy is beginning to grow. Vietnam is my home, and this is where my heart is, and my work will continue here because we've got 10 million primary school children here. I've had so many friends and family of friends that have been killed and injured by motorbikes and the lack of helmets. So my passion started here and it very much remains here. Having said that, I've realized that I've created a really wonderful model. I mean, I didn't set out to do that, But our work is now spreading into Cambodia and Laos and even Thailand. We have recently had requests to try to set up this model in Africa. I'll probably be taking my first trip to Senegal and Nigeria and Uganda later this year, where I'm going to try to help them set up a model. We even have Costa Rica and Uruguay in South America have asked us to try to set up this model. So from that standpoint, I'm very proud because yes, we're a U.S. charity, but really we're a Vietnamese foundation, and it's run by Vietnamese, young Vietnamese that have now the same passion to try to improve this one problem in Vietnam. So this is where the work will continue. My next goal, to answer your question, sorry, a long-winded answer, but we're trying to raise the funding now to get 1 million children wearing helmets in Vietnam in the next 5 years. So that's our next big challenge.
The manufacturing plan, I understand you hire the disabled. That's something I really admire you because you actually directly help bring jobs to the disabled. Now, how about training? Was that difficult to train the disabled to make this helmet? Because I was downstairs and take a look, and some of them is not something like, you know, just requires stage skills.
No, and it's a good question because it also, I hope, sends a signal to other people to consider the physically disabled, not only in Vietnam, but even some of your viewers in America. There may be a lot of them with small businesses or medium-sized enterprises. They should really think about hiring the physically disabled. In Vietnam, you know, again, in America, we sometimes take a lot of these things for granted. I have it, my son-in-law is 28 years old and was in a very bad car accident 10 years ago and is now a paraplegic. He's paralyzed from here down. His life is a challenge, but you know, I'm always amazed, and this has helped open my eyes, the advances that we have in the West to help accommodate the physically disabled. In Vietnam, there's nothing. These young people would literally be just left in their house for the rest of their life. I have found that they are probably the best employees I have. Now, you know, that's a general statement, of course. A lot of my employees are all very dedicated, but the physically disabled ones, they've never had a job in their life for the most part. What I had done, again, was nothing brilliant. When I built the factory, you know, in a lot of factories, people stand up and work at an assembly line. You see that all over the world. I thought, why can't we just have this a little bit lower and let the people sit down and the people in wheelchairs can wheel up to it? And that was really how a lot of it started. And from there, it just became, you know, natural to start recruiting people with physical disabilities. Training was no problem. They work so hard. They are so thankful to have had this chance in life that they're great employees.
Yes.
But yes, we offer training. I mean, we, as you've seen at the factory, we feed them. We have classrooms. We give them training. We're trying to give a lot of them English training. Again, I don't necessarily want them all to stay here forever. I mean, I'm a big believer in capacity building, and even in our administration offices, trying to build the people up, educate them, and yes, I want them to fly someday and move on to other organizations, and maybe they'll come back, maybe they won't.